Christians, I have a proposal. A new way of evangelism is my proposal today. So I was on the plane on the way to Spain for our Easter holidays. Nice that we can do that. And I make use of the time. I don't have a video downloaded. Don't have any headphones. My daughter had them. How do I make use of my time? I either come up with a training program, or in this instance, I decided to think about evangelism, because in our church, we're doing this thing where we're having this term we're using, renewed evangelism. So it got me thinking about a new way to evangelize. That's how I use my plane time. And look, we all know we need to reach out. But we all know as Christians we need to reach out, but I think we've got to follow the evidence. I believe we need to follow the evidence of how what we're doing is working, and not just always doing the same thing. I say this because Jesus had something we don't have. He had supernatural powers to know people's heart and to know how to interact with them. And we don't have that power, but we do know we need to reach out to people and make an appeal. So I think the wise thing for us to do, many of us Christians who've been sharing our faith for decades, is to think, what works? What isn't working? How's it going? Let's be real. If we're all honest, in this day and age, many people I speak to as Christians, it doesn't feel like it's always working. And it's always felt a bit like that. It's cold contact, or people you somewhat know, people you've just got to know. And it doesn't always work easily, but maybe these days more than ever, it sometimes does feel like this isn't maybe working very well. And I want to throw out a thought. I think some of it is the issue of familiarity. Familiarity. Hard word to say for me for some reason. Familiarity. It's just too familiar to people. They've heard it. They've seen it. They've worn the t-shirt. Maybe they're even Christians themselves at some point. When you mention the Bible, Christianity, or Jesus, they have a whole catalogue of thoughts about him already, about Christianity already. So they're too familiar in their minds. However, they think they're familiar, but I think they've been misled. Because I think that most people I reach out to don't know what they're rejecting. And this is my starting point for my new way of evangelism. They don't know what they're rejecting, and therefore that's the starting point for me when I thought about how do I share my faith. I want it to be investigatory. I want to go out and share my faith, not to try and bring someone to a certain point. Of course, that's the bigger goal, but how do I go about it? Well, I want to investigate. I want to ask questions of the people I reach out to, whether it be cold contact, on the bus, someone I've just met, someone at the gym, whatever the circumstances are. A couple of questions I think can lead this new way of evangelism. What's your understanding of Jesus? A simple question to ask someone. What do you know about Jesus? What would you say? How do you understand him? What do you think about him? Just get their thoughts. It's just the starting point. People will love to be asked questions, love to get the chance to share. Jesus always started with questions, almost always started with questions. What does it mean to follow him? Ask the person, what does it mean to be a Christian? What do you think it means to follow him? So you're getting their viewpoints. And then, well, we're not leading them. We're just asking questions. I'm proposing this as a new way. Ask questions, investigatory. We're not leading questions. What are we doing? We're fulfilling the scripture, in my opinion, that says God makes his appeal through us. We're actually taking an interest in people's views. I believe when God makes an appeal to us, he has an interest in how we see things, what our viewpoints are. God takes an interest in us. As God makes his appeal through us, we would take an interest in other people. We're not leading them. We're just investigating. What's their view of Christianity? What's their view of Jesus? It will get dialogue happening. And do you know what we can do? The ultimate goal in all of this new proposal of evangelism is clear up misconceptions about Jesus. You've asked them a question. They've told you what they think. You offer a suggestion. Do you know, how did you come to that conclusion? This is another series I've done. Ask their opinion. What's the basis for their opinion? And then you come in with something else. Well, do you mind if I share my views as someone who studied this for a while? And do you mind if I share what I think? Or maybe, do you mind me saying that I think that wasn't right? Or that's a misconception? And they might be open to that. You might meet people who are open to that. And hopefully our goal is to clear up misconceptions, Second goal, inspire people to follow him. Just get in the conversations. There's no point in just flogging, as we say, a dead horse over and over and over again. That's not to say any style of evangelism doesn't work. It's God that makes his appeal through us. He's the one that makes it grow, not us. However, we've got to be smart. Look at what's happening. Look at the evidence and think, what can we do? And that was my thought in the plane of thought. A new way to evangelize for me is I've got to be investigatory. I've got to go out there and try and find out where people are at. What do they think? What's their viewpoint? I want to start doing that. Have already started doing that. Start doing that soon and see how it goes. Let me know what you think of that. And if you do want to adopt that approach, I'm hopefully going to deliver some more material on this, scriptures on this, just to get some ideas of, maybe people already doing this. Let me know how you go.